8 effective strategies to master difficult subjects through right study techniques. That is what we'll be talking about in this podcast. And I'm fully aware that a lot of students are having the difficulties in studying, um, difficulties in trying to go through some of the subjects. And when you mention something like, "Oh God, this subject, not again, not again, not again," I don't have the I don't have the strength for it. And today, you're in the right place because I'm here for you to help you out by unveiling to you 8 effective strategies that have worked for some of my students, um, that I've had a private sessions tuition with them to help them to grow, to become better. And yeah, if you know where there is a HR Tech tutoring um, um, service, across IGCSE and A levels. So I think this would really help you if you're having difficulties. You're having a subject that is proving to be very, very difficult. The first thing I want to talk about is, how do you even gain proficiency in difficult subjects? Because that's one of the questions that is usually asked. How do I gain proficiency in difficult subjects? Completing difficult subjects can seem to be an exhausting process and daunting task. The right strategies can translate your learning into achievable goals. I've seen students who came into their job tutoring service who probably were on a D or E, um, and for some reason, um, when they went through our service, going through some certain processes and training, they came out to be A stars and A. The student who probably was on a U came out to be a B, even an A. And that tells you that it's not the subject that is the problem, it's just the process. To some students, even outside the classroom, they will probably need that extra attention. And every student in the classroom is given the same attention. You need to understand that every student is given the same attention, right? Every student is cared for. But when you understand yourself as a student, that yes, why the extra care is given to everybody, there are some students that need that extra bit of care. And that is why platforms like this are just here to just help you to, you know, augment, certain areas that would help forward. So the right strategies can translate your learning into achievable goals. Take a look at these effective strategies that we're going to talk about, right? And this would help you to excel in the most complex subject. Break down complex topic. That's my first point. Break down complex topics into manageable chunks, right? Oh, ICT, oh, mathematics, it's too much. No, it's not too much. It's because of how you're chewing it. It's how you're chewing it. You want that piece of pie so badly. Instead of just putting everything in your mouth, it's probably going to choke you at some point, right? You can just slice it down, okay, and then you have it one per piece. So dividing a difficult subject into smaller, digestible parts makes it easy to grasp. Okay, for example, when tackling calculus, right? You focus on understanding fundamental concepts like what? Limits, derivatives, before progressing to advanced integration. That's for math 0580. For ICT, you look at website authoring, or you look at spreadsheet, for example, right? Because again, spreadsheet has to do with mathematics, right? You first try to understand, how do I use the interface? What is even a cell? Okay, what do we mean by name range and all the rest? How do we begin a formula? What's the best way of editing a formula? And you try to understand all this basic concept before even progressing. How do I even format a cell or a range of cell, right? So when you look at all these basic things before you start looking at the functions, they would help you to be able to know how to navigate your way around it. By the time you start focusing on the advanced, for example, I talked about calculus, instead of looking at limits and derivatives, you start talking about advanced integration. You're probably just taking too much for yourself. Okay, so this is it's important that you know this. The next one is use active recall for retention. Use active recall for retention. Active recall involves testing yourself on key concepts rather than passively rereading. I'm going to take that again. Active recall involves testing yourself on key concepts rather than passively rereading materials. And this helps me for ICT a lot. The use of flashcards. Some of my students, I prepare flashcards for them. Self quizzes. Now, across ICT from chapter 1 to 21, and I'm on record with this, I have quizzes across the chapters that would help students, right, to be able to test themselves on these topics, right? Summarizing lessons. And I do that most time. Okay, summarize this particular topic to help them in their own words can significantly boost memory retention. Utilize visual aids and mind maps. Visual learning benefits greatly from charts, graphs, and diagrams. Creating mind maps for topics like biology, history can help visualize relationships. Now, when you're reading theoretical concepts and there isn't anything visual about it, you're probably not going to get the whole concept, right? So the mind maps for biology or history can help you visualize relationship between ideas, making complex information easier to comprehend. So it's important for you to visualize these aids, right? Charts, graphs, they help you a lot. Okay, pointing relationship with the use of pictures to be able to put all these things together can create that relationship between the ideas. Okay. The next one I want to talk about is apply the Feynman technique, and I'll explain what that means. Now, the Feynman technique involves explaining a concept in simple terms, as if you're teaching someone else. Okay, so you're explaining a concept in simple terms as if you're teaching someone else. It forces you to identify gaps in your understanding. Okay, and reinforces the materials effectively. And most of the time in my lessons, I try as much as possible to involve students. Not, okay, we do that interactive classes, we do it, but most of them I try to put them, okay, try to teach this, right? Split the class into various sections. Okay, you handle this section, you handle this, and now I handle this. And the reason why we are doing it is because it's easier for this, and to the student teachers, it helps them as well to be able to reinforce that understanding, okay, so that when they are reading, it makes it easier for other students. They are able to probably understand the concept a way lot easier, because again, it's more or less your classmates that are teaching them. Okay, so it is very important. Okay, so you explain the concept in as simple as possible, as if you're teaching someone else. Adopt space repetitions for long-term mastery. So you need to adopt the space repetition for long-term mastery. Space repetition system, what I call the SRS, use intervals, right, to review learned materials. Okay, so we have numerous online tools that can help schedule reviews to optimize retention, especially useful for vocabularies or what formulas. Now, this is probably for English and probably for mathematics, right? You're trying to remember these formulas. So the space retention system can help you to be able to learn this particular formula in such a way that you're able to put those formulas across board and try to see how you can play around with them. So that is very important. That would really help you. The way most people study, they study as if they're going to battle. Yeah, like as if they're going to they're going for a World War IV or World War III. No, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't really be like that. So it's important, and that's why the space retention can help you to be able to learn this properly. Okay, so combine, that's the next one, combine theoretical learning with practical applications. Okay, something theoretical, subjects like physics or chemistry becomes less intimidating when paired with hands-on experiments. Okay, so you're applying theories to real-world scenarios. It would enhance comprehension and it would keep the learning engaging. And when you're teaching, right, chemistry, physics, you're trying to understand it, it becomes particularly helpful when you can find simulations to be able to help that concept of what you're reading to come to life. You're talking about Faraday. You probably see something like a simulation that will probably make that concept come to life. So it's easier that way for you as a student when you're learning. Okay, so this is very important. I'm going to keep the very best for the last. Okay, so you have to combine theoretical learning with practical application. If you're just reading as if you're reading a newspaper, you're probably not getting it. Really, you're probably not getting it. Okay, set smart goals for progress tracking. And this is one thing I tell my students. Why, as much as possible, I try to put them on the very highest position. On the other end, for me, I try to set goals that are achievable for them. Right? Yes, I'll put up the fixed marks, the marks to say everybody must be on an A star. But I know their strength. I know there's some people in their very sleep will give you an A star without much pressure. And there's some, they'll probably be on an A. But and they're already maybe in a D or a C. But the highest they can do is probably for that level at that time, give you an A. So what I do is I try as much to set them the goal, but behind the scene, I set smart goals for progress tracking. And that simply means that as a student, these are the things I'm going to show you. I'm going to open my books for you. I'm defining specifics, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. That is my definition of SMART. I'm going to talk about them right here. So we have the specific. What area is this particular child having a challenge on? What specific areas? The problem is when you don't define the specific, everything becomes clustered. You can't actually, we always look for magic. Which area is a challenge for you? And when we know this, it's easier for the student to be able to grasp, to say, okay, when it comes to this particular topic, I'm struggling with this. I need extra attention for this. I need extra service for this. I need extra, and this is why, whether we like it or not, we just have to be fair to ourselves. There's some students that they can get this with their own self-study, but there are some students that would need extra services. That simply means that they'll probably need to get an extra tutor to be able to guide them to the SMART, to ensure that the SMART goal is achievable. Okay, that simply means that they have to get extra service for extra tutors on that particular subject that they're struggling with. So that simply means we're looking at the specific areas they're having issues with, and how do we measure it? How can it be measured as much as possible? How do we measure it? To say, okay, these are the areas we're having, this is the level she is or he is, and we can be able to measure, say, okay, if we do this, this is where she's going to go, this is where he's going to go. And that would bring us to what we call achievable. So at the end of the day, this is what we'll be able to achieve with the specific areas that she is dealing with, that he is dealing with. And then we'll look at the relevant areas, subjects that are relevant towards the course she's going for. Not every subject are tailored to what you want. You're going to do your IGCSE, your IGs, your A levels. Focus on the relevance. What are the subjects that in your sleep you are good to go? You don't need extra effort. And what are the subjects that you need extra effort? Those are your relevance. Those are the ones that you give up, because by giving attention to them, automatically when you prep yourself for the ones that are not really posing to be an issue, you will get it as well. Okay, and time bound. Reading shouldn't be a daunting task, right? That it simply means that you have to read all. If you're spending so much time reading, you're reading wrong. If you spend so much time trying to get the concept, you're doing something wrong. So that simply means that everything has to be a time frame, right? Has to be timed in such a way that this is the time I'm allocating for this. And at the end of the day, I should be able to measure. I should be able to achieve. I should be able to look at the relevance. I should be able to be specific towards what I'm doing, right? So commit to mastering 5 words daily for language courses, right? Ensuring consistent progress. For mathematics, look at how you can master each formula a day across the topics. That would help you a lot. Okay. The next one is collaborate with peers through study groups. Study groups are one of the things that I, as a teacher, have brought into the system across schools to help students to learn, right? Because students, there's something about study relationship, right? When you're among your peers and you're studying together towards the concept, I would bet you that even the ones that are probably struggling will be able to find something to get, because they are within the atmosphere where everyone is studying. So collaborate with your peers, with your classmates through study groups. They help a lot. Study group really help a lot. So that simply means that those groups, when you're discussing tough topics with peers, it provides new perspective and solution. How are you dealing with this? Why am I finding this difficult and you find this easy? What's your secret? The problem is most students don't even do that. They don't have study groups. They feel that I'm alone. Yeah, I'm a lone wolf, right? I do this. Well, it works for some students, but if you notice that you're having an issue, link up with your classmates. How come you're having 100? How come you're having a 97? How come you're having a 95? And I'm having a 70. I'm having a 60. What are you doing that I'm not doing right? What's your strategy? And all this can be unveiled to you with a study group. So it provides you new perspective and solution. Study group can foster collaborative learning and can offer insights that solo studying might miss. Do you see that? So study groups foster collaborative learning and can offer insights that solo studying might miss. So this is an eye-opener. So if you go to this podcast, and I bet you this would really open your eyes to the importance of collaborating with study groups. So this is very important. Okay. Now the next one is and this is going to be the final one, is the fact that YouTube's educational contents are very important. And I'll explain what I mean by educational content. Now, for us here, we have a Geotech, and that simply means that we have lots of materials that students can go home to study with. Free materials, right? We have paid materials, we have free materials. Now, these platforms are designed to help students who are struggling. a teacher is teaching a concept in class and you're probably not finding it easy for you. Going to platforms like AgileTech, right? Physics for Everybody, um, um, and other platforms, right, would help you, okay, to be able to have understanding. I'm having issue with physics, and I don't have a private tutor. I'm unable to get one for whatever reason, that probably for some reason, finance or whatever, that you don't want to get a private tutor on physics, and I'm having issue with physics. Then go to Physics for Everybody. There's a reason why it's Physics for Everybody. It's not just for some people, for somebody or few body, but for everybody. So go there and learn. Okay, I'm having issue with this topic. Go to that topic there and learn. And you find out that learning at your own time, where you can go at a slow pace, and then you go back to the class, to your physics teacher in school. Okay, now I understand it. Oh, this is good. This is good. And if you're having issue with chemistry, right, we still have contents. We have content on AgileTech here. You can also explore Learn Today IGCSE. She's good, right, with chemistry, and you're combining these materials with Gideon on chemistry and Learn Today IGCSE, and you're combining these materials together. You'll find that at the end of the day, you're having multiple teachers teaching you the same thing. That is what students are not utilizing. These educational contents on platforms here are there to aid you on having multiple teachers. Even if it's the same teacher that is teaching you physical school and you still go back to his online materials, it's like doing 2-in-1. Okay, he's teaching me in school. If I go back home, he's going to teach me through his videos. So this will help you to improve significantly. And yes, having a private tutor, it would be a boost for you. So if you're looking to get a private tutor for IGCSE or E-level, you can also send us a message. Our adverts are all over on our platforms, on AgileTech, on our various social medias. And then you can just send us an email to agiletech@gmail.com or support@agiletech.com. And we'll be there to respond to you and provide you with that support. I hope this was helpful. Please do well to share this particular video with your friends so that they can learn the right way and don't study amiss. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.